UFO Reporting Center?
Yes, this is Officer Gravy with the Colusa Police Department in Colusa, California.
Yes, sir.
And we've just received 2 reports of UFOs, and we're with one subject now, and we figured it'd be easier if he could describe it to you, or we've never called your number before, so we really don't know what the procedure is on it. But we just had a complete power outage in the county, and when this fellow walked outside is when he spotted it, and that's when another lady who was a reserve on our department also spotted it.
Now, you say one party's with you?
Right, I'm calling from his home now.
Okay, do you have the name to the other party also?
Okay, the other party is Elaine McGowan, and you can usually reach her via the Colusa County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
She's a reserve there, part-time dispatcher.
Okay, you're with the other party now?
Right, would you like to talk to him?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Hello?
Good evening, or good morning, I should say.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to have him to bother you.
No problem at all. We'd like to hear about what you saw.
Well, I never used to believe in it, but I do now. Around 1 o'clock, the power went off. And I have power running from my shop to my house, and I figured maybe it blew a fuse in there. I've been watching television. And I went outside, very dark, with no lights anywhere, and had this funny feeling like static electricity around me or something. I don't know. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I looked up behind the barn, which is right behind my house, and this giant object like an upside-down cup was just there, hovering, not making a sound, but weird-looking lights. And I ran back in the house to get my wife, and it was already about like 5 or 10 miles away. And it was coming back this time with 3 giant beams on the ground, lighting up the whole surface of the ground.
Uh-huh.
And my neighbor has a crop dusting outfit behind my field, and it lit their house up, and it was shining these weird lights out, like spotlights. They wasn't going out too far, but they were far apart, and it would come right for the house again, so I grabbed my kids out of bed, and we ran to the car and got in a pickup. And the damn thing followed us until we got to the cemetery, and then I had to hit my brake lights, because I was driving no lights, to get over the hump. And when I did that, it took off like a flash off to the right and went off towards the Sacramento area. And there was more than one, but I didn't have a chance to look at the other. This one's too damn close, you know.
Yes.
But it was hanging over the barn, and it had this funny electricity stuff bothering you. I mean, it's like you get a tingle, you know.
You could feel that in your body then?
All the way through.
Okay.
And I'm still shaking.
Uh-huh. Okay, now going back to when you first saw this, how close to the ground was it?
He was about 50 feet and counting the barn. He was right above the barn.
And how far away from you would you say?
Well, I would say within 100 feet from my house to the barn.
100 feet, okay. And it was shaped like an upside-down cup?
Right.
Is that all you could see? Now, could you see?
I couldn't see above it because at that point, it was too many weird-looking lights drawing your attention. I just couldn't take time to look at the whole thing. It just scared me, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I did look at it for a good 2 minutes. I mean, I stood there, I was froze. And it doesn't make a sound.
Okay, could you see a surface?
Yes, when it took off, it looks like an upside-down... Well, I hate to say this, but do you know the movie they have on TV called The Invaders?
Yes.
Okay, it looks identical to that.
Okay, were there any openings?
I can't see. There's too much bright light.
Too much light, too much outside glow.
Light.
Okay,
It's
right, okay.
An neon color.
Right. Now, did this light up the ground under it?
But it didn't light the ground up on the barn until it took off over there, and it stopped, and it had 3 lights. It lit up the ground under it in a huge, big circle.
Now, were these shafts of light that came down from
beams
from the bottom of the object?
Well, this center one was a huge light that went straight down.
Uh-huh.
And then it had one out in front that went down on the ground, and then it had one on left and right of it that showed on there were power poles with the power poles on the 2047, and it looked like it was shining lights right on those electrical transformers.
Right on the transformers.
And the lights was already out all over the whole valley, but it came, when I called the wife to the window, it was coming right at us again. And it had these giant lights, but this time it only had one light. There was a beam, a huge big beam, I'd say a couple 300 feet in diameter on the ground, coming right at us. And I panicked and grabbed the kids, and we took off with no lights.
Okay, but did you have any trouble with the car or anything while you were driving?
No, I just fired it up, and it's a Chevrolet, you know, it takes a little bit, and I put it in reverse and backed out, and naturally the backup lights come on, and that scared me because I figured it's going to see us, you know.
Uh-huh.
And it came right over Bailey's trees, which is the next door neighbor to us, and they were eucalyptus pretty tall. And it just seems to know how to act to manipulate it, you know, on the ground maneuver. And it doesn't make a sound. That's what's weird.
And this followed you into town?
It followed me right along the side of us, within about 100 yards from us, and I was made to turn on the main road and hit it towards town as fast as I could with no lights. It was right there, and I was getting pretty panicked, and my wife was too. But when I hit the railroad track, there's quite a little hump over it, and I put the brakes, and the brake lights came on bright red, and I figured, oh, Christ, he's really going to find us now, you know.
Uh-huh.
And it took off behind us on the right of us and took off towards the Sacramento area. And it just went all that way so fast, you can't believe it.
Did it change in appearance at all when it took off at high rate of speed?
It can make any turns it wants.
I mean, did the glow around it increase?
It turns soft blue. I mean, kind of a purplish blue.
When it took off?
When it takes off, yeah.
Okay. Now, during this whole experience, at no time you saw any kind of a surface, right?
Just an outline of a shadow, you know.
Oh, okay.
Like I say, I seen a good look of it there at the barn.
Right.
But the underneath's got some weird-looking things on it. That's what startled me. You know?
Did it have any colored lights on it?
Yes. It's kind of a frosty light. You know, it's not a... They're just like a neon light.
Right.
And there's a series of little teeny things that go through the light, like little neon tubes.
Did any member of your family have this feeling also?
No, I woke them out of sound sleep.
Okay, then the only time you had this tingling sensation would be outside, okay.
But it looked like to me it was drawing electricity out of the power poles or something, because it had these beams on these transformers.
Okay, now were these just high voltage lines, or were they the large transmission lines?
Well, see, we have irrigation pumps on the canal.
Oh, yes.
And they're quite, I don't know how many voltage, but they're quite a bit. And they're big, huge transformers, so I don't know if it was just looking at them or if it's drawing energy from them, but it looked like to me it was drawing something from them.
Uh-huh, okay. Now, how big was this object? Is there any estimates?
No, beg your pardon?
How large was the object?
I don't want to, I hate to guess.
Could you compare it with...
it was as big as around as my whole barn. And the barn is pretty old, but it covered the whole top of it.
Uh-huh.
And the barn is probably like 75 by maybe 50, and it goes up pretty tall.
Okay. Do you have any livestock on the farm?
No, I just got two animals, a cat and a dog. It's in the shop.
Okay. Can we have your name, sir?
Yes, sir. Mr. Bill Pecha. P-E-C-H-A. It's actually Billy Vincent, but I don't like Billy, so I can do Bill.
And your wife saw this?
My wife seen it right out the window.
And what was your wife's first name?
Linda Pecha.
And your children saw it?
My children sees the light, but they were scared and asleep.
Okay.
We woke them out.
All right. Did the police department get any additional reports on that?
Yes. I called my neighbors because I was very worried about them when I got to town because it had this huge light over their house. And they own the airport. And I called her and she said that they were asleep. They didn't hear anything or nothing. I told her it didn't make a sound. And I didn't want to tell her that I was waking her up, scaring her. And she said she kind of believes in it too, but she would keep an eye out.
Okay. How long did the power outage last?
Well, I'd say within about, well, I can't tell you everything going on. I didn't want to stay in the dark because I didn't want to be seen.
Uh-huh.
I think about maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes.
And this covered the whole county?
Yes, it did. Everything was black around here. I didn't know until he told me that the whole county was knocked down.
You said that there was more than one object.
Yes, there were three. I'm pretty sure there were three because there was the other two things going away. Is it coming towards us? And that's when I figured holy hell's going to break loose. I didn't, I just was worried sick after it was there once that it was going to come back and get it.
Okay, now the other two, were they similar to the one by the barn?
See, they just had lights.
I see.
They looked like two small ones.
Okay, what color were the lights on those?
They were they're a neon light.
Same.
Only they didn't have anything under them. I couldn't see. They looked like smaller ones.
I see. Okay.
But they went away fast.
Uh-huh.
But they don't make no noise. I can't see why a machine that big can't at least make something.
Now this was handled by the Colusa Police Department?
I called the Sheriff's Department because I couldn't stand it any longer. I had to know somebody else seen it.
Uh-huh.
And they said they had one other call or a couple, I don't remember. But the police department came here and I told them what I saw. And they're the ones that called you.
This is the police or the sheriff?
This is the police here in town.
Okay, fine.
Call the Sheriff's Department. I guess they sent you guys. Oh, they dispatched out to the police here.
Okay.
Not a fib, sir.
Well,
I really believe it now. I used to think a little bit, they had me wondered. That's all it ever went to. But I believe it.
Okay, other than this tingling sensation now, did you have any other physical or strange mental feelings while all this was going on?
Well, I don't really know. I couldn't get in the house. I was all frustrated. I hit the walls going down because we had no lights in there. I couldn't, and I've always walked through that hall before without running into everything. But I guess I was scared too. But it's like electricity. I mean, it's like your hair's you take some kind of a Dicon or coats, you wear, and you get this static electricity when you pull it off.
Right.
That's the way your hair stands up.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Static to it or something.
Could I talk to the officer again, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I sure appreciate this call.
Okay, we'll have a report in our file.
Okay.
Do you need our address or anything?
We have it, Now, this Elaine McGowan, does she working night shift or off?
Well, she's a technician for the ambulance service, so we can call her out any time of the night.
Uh-huh.
It'd be best to get a hold of her in the daytime.
Okay, then she's right there at the main office.
Well, no, but they can get a hold of her.
Oh, okay.
And that would be at the sheriff's office.
Right.
And the police department took the report.
Right.
The sheriff's department dispatches for us at night because we don't have a dispatcher on.
Oh, I see. Very good. And we thank you again very much for this. And if we get any more information on it, why, we'll get back to you people and let you know.
Okay, and also the power was out for 3 or 4 surrounding counties, too, that we monitor on the radio at the same time.
Okay, how long was that out,
I was out at my house for about 5 minutes, went out 5 to 1, and came on about 2 minutes after because I was just getting ready to go to work. I was out for about 7 minutes at my house.
Okay, now, I forgot to ask this gentleman what time he first saw this object.
Bill, what time did you first see this? As soon as the power went off, it'd be right around 1. 5 minutes to 1 by my watch.
Okay.
Okay, hold on a second. Oh, yeah, always done. 3 lights? Yeah, it's a reduced surge. Okay, if you need anything else, you can get hold of us, I guess.
Yes, sir, we'll do.
Okay.
And we thank you again.
Okay.
Right. Elaine McGowan?
Yes.
I'm calling for the UFO Reporting Center in Washington.
Yes, sir.
And we understand that you saw something in the sky last night.
Yes, sir.
I wonder if we could get a description of that.
There was no shape to it that we could see. It happened about, I guess maybe 25 minutes to 1. The lights had gone out in town, the street lights as well as house lights, and we walked out to the street to look up the street to see if we could see any lights further down.
Uh-huh.
And there was one big bright light. It looked like a street light was mounted up in the sky. We watched it for approximately 10 to 15 minutes. It was southwest of Colusa. It was stationary for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then went in a northwesterly direction, pardon me, for maybe a minute, and then switched directions and went southeast towards Sacramento. The lights at that time came back on. They were on for maybe a minute and a half, and the object just disappeared.
Uh-huh. It just snapped off like turning off the light?
And there was a whirl, like a very, very high-powered motor would run, a very fine precision motor that would just have a hum to it.
Yes.
You could hear this very, very distinctly.
Okay, now, do you have any idea of how close that object got to you?
Oh, it was quite a ways away from us. With the lights out, so it's hard to tell distance.
Right.
It was south of town. I would say maybe a half a mile away from us would be at the closest point, and it was still a very bright, kind of a orangish shade of light.
Uh-huh.
We could detect no shape except this, one circle of bright light.
Yes. Now you say this was definitely circular then?
The light that we saw.
Yes.
It was just like something it would be like an airplane landing in your yard, the headlight of an airplane.
I see.
Brilliant,
okay.
But there was no rays coming off of it.
I see. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, really it does. How about altitude?
When we first saw it, it seemed to be, maybe 200 feet in the air.
Okay.
When we first see it. Then, as it was going in the northwest pattern, it went up. As it was, in other words, it didn't go straight across the horizon. It went up on an angle.
Yes.
And then when it finally shot the closest to us, it was a lot higher, maybe close to a half a mile up from us, straight up in the sky. And then it was going at a very rapid rate of speed.
Okay, now could you hear this humming sound at all times while you had it in sight?
When we first spied it, no. But when it started in motion and started from the northeast and went to the from the northwest to the southeast, then it was very, very pronounced.
Okay.
We could hear it over the motor of a pickup truck that had just driven by us.
Did this seem to fluctuate in any way with regards to the object's speed or starting or stopping?
Well, it did not stop after we heard the noise. Once we heard the noise, it was a steady, it was like almost like an airplane motor going, but at a much higher rate of speed even than what a jet would sound like.
Okay, now what about size? Can you compare that with anything?
All right, standing on the ground and looking at it at a distance, it looked like maybe 5 street lights flopped together, only in one.
Those amber lights?
It wasn't amber. It was kind of it was a white, but we had like a pinkish, orangish cast to it.
Oh, yes. Okay. Did this cast seem to surround the white part of the object?
No, not that I can remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the Sheriff's Department reserves, and I sat there and looked at it. If I tell them, they'll think I'm an idiot. Because I have 5 sons that are always reading about them,
Uh-huh.
And they've been telling me, I saw this light and I saw that light. Well, the one where we're standing out there, and yesterday was his 17th birthday, and he was out of his mind. Look what I seen on my 17th birthday, So as far as it seemed to light, I can't say that the light got any brighter or any dimmer. It just kind of stayed at one intensity.
Okay, now in your opinion, was this thing under intelligent control?
Definitely.
Okay. And your son also saw this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was the extent of the witnesses?
In our area.
Right.
We sat there and watched it. We didn't, there was no one else around that time of the morning. One pickup went by. And then we were told today, one of the police officers stopped by and visited with us, and he said that there was 4 separate sightings of 4 other individuals had reported it.
Uh-huh.
Which made me feel better.
Right. Okay. And that's all you saw, was just light, nothing else?
Just light. It was just a round light. I couldn't give it a shape, to say that it was long or any particular type of a shape. It was just a bright light.
Okay. Well, we sure appreciate your time. And if we need additional information, could we get back to you?
You certainly can anytime.
Thank you very much.
Thank you kindly for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I can't really understand how I would be the only one who saw it, because there were lots of people out there yesterday.
Well, we have, by our experience, there could be 100 people see things and only one person who call and say anything about it.
I see. Well, the thing about it was not, to me, I never saw a flying saucer or any sort of object in the sky as flying, or even, at all. All I saw was light, shooting sort of light in many different directions, widespread. And it was there, I didn't even know it was there. I thought it was my imagination. But I saw it out of the corner of my eye, then directly focused on it. It was just in the sky, watched it happen for about 3 seconds, which is quite a long time, and then wrote it off as my imagination because I didn't see anything, any source, no UFO, no nothing, just the light shooting in the sky. And then my friend told me that they had UFO reports somewhere in Deming, I think it was yesterday, was shooting star-type light, which that would sort of have a description similar to what I saw.
Now, was this during the daytime?
At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, approximately 2 o'clock, give or take, 15 minutes either way.
Now, when you say shooting light, do you mean streaking across the sky?
Exactly, yeah.
And what part of the sky would this be in?
I was on Alki Beach, and just noticed it out of the corner of my eye, and then watched it directly. It was just above, it was like over the water, but I didn't see any flying saucer or anything. But it was in every direction. It wasn't simply, in one central direction. It was all over the place. I mean, it was crazy.
Would this be right out over the Elliott Bay?
I don't know where Elliott Bay is. I'm really not a native.
In other words, you weren't facing Vashon Island, which is across the water, were you?
Excuse me?
You weren't facing west. You were facing more to the north?
I was on the beach, and it was, well, I suppose I was, facing sort of north, right?
Okay, that'd be out over Elliott Bay.
Right. You didn't have any sightings over there yesterday, then?
No, we didn't.
What about this thing in Deming?
Where?
In Deming, Washington. Did you hear about a UFO thing yesterday?
Deming,
I think it is.
No, that's new to us.
You didn't hear? Did you have any reports yesterday?
No, not a thing.
But my friend said that she heard it on the radio, a UFO report, and described it as what I saw, as shooting light.
I'll be darned. No, we didn't. We haven't had a darn thing here.
Well, see, this to me, when I was very young, and this is back in the 60s, I had seen flying saucers, but it was simple. I mean, it was nothing. It was silver, and it was moving across the sky. Now I can relate to that,
Right.
But as far as flashing light in many directions, very far stretched, that's a little different.
Was this a white light?
Yeah, very white. Now it was a bright day yesterday.
Right.
And sunshine out, blue sky. And it was bright, and this light was extremely illuminate, even during the brightness of the day.
Now, this was a streak of light, or you couldn't see any source?
Not one streak. Many streaks at one time, and all over the sky.
Directions.
Exactly. And in very different directions, and widespread. And they would simply streak, and they wouldn't last 1 second in streaking, but the whole thing took place for a period probably around 3 seconds. And then it was over. And 3 seconds is a long time to sit there and watch something like that.
Now, would this be high up in the sky? Or
Now, for me to give any sort of dimensions or measurement would be almost impossible. I would think that it was pretty high. But it was so bright that it seems near. However, it could have been, since it was light, it was very hard to tell any sort of distance.
Right.
And it's very surprising to me that no one else on the beach has reported it, because something like that is not simply just a UFO. It was much more than that.
Reporting center?
Yes. I'm calling from Kalispell, Montana.
Yes.
And my husband and I and our 4 kids just saw one of those, whatever you want to call them. And they're in circular shape, and they've got 2 big round lights, and then there's a green light, and then there's 2 more great big round white lights. They're white, and then it's a red light. And we just saw it. I can tell you where. It was right up here. It's on the old Whitefish Highway, and there's a power plant that it was right over, and it was, I would say, maybe as high as a house up in the air. And it's just really enormous. I could not tell you how big it is.
Now, this was hovering over the power plant?
It was over the power plant, and we were coming into Kalispell from out towards Whitefish, and we were driving there, and as we came closer to it, it seemed to come towards us, and then it kind of tipped. It didn't, tip on its side or anything. It just kind of slanted.
Uh-huh.
And my husband was driving about 60 or 70 miles an hour at that time, and it just didn't seem like it was, even, we weren't even leaving it. And then he turned into a farmhouse, and all of a sudden it was just gone. It just left, period. I don't know how it left, but it just disappeared.
Uh-huh. How close would you say that object was to you at the closest point? Yes.
I would say that it was probably maybe, I'm not very good at feet, but I would say it was maybe as far away as maybe a block.
That's about 300 feet.
Okay.
Now, you say that the object was round or circular?
It was circular in shape, and there was 2 circular white lights, big ones. And then it separated it with a green light, and then it separated, and then there was 2 more great big white lights, and then it separated again with a red light. And that's just exactly what it looked like.
Okay, now did you see any other features besides the lights?
I'll tell you, mister, I was too scared. I really was. So, I'll let my husband talk to you if you want to.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. Did you notice any other features on the object besides those lights?
No, I'll tell you, we was on the old Whitefish Highway, and there was no other cars, nowhere around, from no place on the road.
Right.
And I told the wife, I said, there's the jet coming in, from Telesville.
Right.
And the light was real bright. From a long ways off, we kept getting closer. And it seemed to stay exactly in the same spot. So, the closer we got, I kind of, wondered, now, hey, what is this, And pretty soon, we kept getting closer and closer and closer, and then it was right smack beside us, like the wife was saying, and all of a sudden I just couldn't believe what it looked like, because it was so bright. And I looked the other way, and about the same time the wife started yelling and screaming to get out of here, so I looked over her way, and I seen one of the white deals, and it kind of tipped a little bit, and I took off as fast as it could go, and I wouldn't even look towards it, and I was just scared to death. And the nearest farmhouse I could find, I went to, and I ran, and the minute I drove in their driveway, I didn't even look back, but the wife said it took off.
Uh-huh.
I didn't even look. I didn't even want to look, and I ran up to the farmhouse as fast as I could.
Did you feel that you were approaching the object, or the object was approaching you?
I would say that we was approaching the object.
The object appeared to be stationary?
Stationary, right.
Okay, now do you feel that it was hovering over this power plant?
Yes.
Okay.
It was just right, there's that power plant there, and it was right up above that power plant. But when we got beside it, then it come beside us.
Uh-huh.
It looked like it come a little closer and followed us for just a little bitty ways, and I was going just as fast as I could make that Mercury go.
Okay, now what, other than those colored lights, did the object itself have a particular color?
All I noticed, like I say, as I was coming up on it, it was just like a jet coming in the land, like the jet around here.
Right.
The big light, it was just like that, until I got beside it, and I glanced over and I seen a greenish light along, right kind of a little bit behind maybe. And then I turned my head. I couldn't look no more. I didn't even want to look. I was just shaking.
Uh-huh.
And I just didn't want to look, I didn't want to get no more shook up than what I was.
Okay, did this object appear to be flat, on the flattish side?
It could have been, but it looked like the sides, it looked like kind of like a little bit oblong lights to me, but like I say, I just glanced and I didn't want to look no more. They were round. We just said they were round.
Right.
But I just glanced. Like I say, I just turned that way and I turned back as fast as I could because I didn't want to get no more shook up than I was.
Okay, then all these colored lights, just everything moved away simultaneously, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, do you have any estimate on the size of the object? Can you compare it with anything?
I would say roughly the size of a jet. Roughly, or maybe half the size of a jet.
Okay. Now, did you have any problem with your car while all this was going on?
None.
Okay.
No problem with the car.
How about any heat or odor or sound?
Well, I'll tell you, I was too shook up to know. I looked at it, and I couldn't. Could you hear any sound read or anything? I didn't. We had the radio on. And all I could think of was getting out of there.
No static on the radio?
I was so scared. I'm not kidding. I was so scared that I didn't notice nothing.
Okay.
Because it was on the wife's side. And, you know, when I looked over her way, and there it was, bang, right, you know, just like you're looking straight out the window.
Right.
It was low, real low. And then that was it. I didn't want to look no more. I just turned my head and just thought about the 4 kids we had in the car and getting out of there.
Okay, now, about what time did that happen?
Oh, I'd say 20 minutes ago.
Okay, and just about how long did this whole thing take? What was the time lapse?
Well, when we was coming up on it, it was, I'd say 10 minutes coming up on it and stayed right there.
Okay.
So we got beside it. Or maybe could have been, I'd say 10 or 15, roughly, when I first spotted the light.
Uh-huh.
And I was wondering what the jet was doing, you know, roughly that, you know, low.
Right. And there was your wife and 2 children?
No, there was 4.
4 children, okay. Did they see it?
Yeah.
Did this upset them, or were they a little bit on the
They
side?
were quiet.
Uh-huh.
There was no sound. Nothing. They were just complete silent. They were like me, scared to death.
What was the name of this highway or road that you were traveling?
Old Whitefish Highway.
Whitefish, okay. All right, sir, where did you get our number?
From the sheriff's office.
Sheriff, okay.
Okay, and the wife wanted to talk to you again.
Fine.
It was right beside her. She's the one, you know,
Okay.
like I say. I just don't want to ever see nothing like that again.
Okay.
That's all I want to say.
Thank you.
I'll tell you, if you're thinking it's a jet, I've seen jets come in before with their landing lights.
Yes.
They're on the bottom. Jets have got landing lights on the bottom. This is no jet because they're all on the side. It's all on the side, and it's in a circle. And it didn't move except for whenever we got up beside it, it just kind of tipped a little. And it
Okay.
just seemed like it was getting a little closer to us.
Now, was this on your side of the car?
Yeah, it was. It was
Okay,
on
now
my
you
side.
got a good look at those colored lights. Did they change in brightness at all?
They never changed. The lights never changed. It just that whenever it was going in a circle.
Uh-huh.
And there was 2 great big round lights. And then the green one was round, and then there was 2 more great big round white lights, and then a red one.
Now, when you say they were going in a circle, do you mean that they were rotating around the object?
It rotated, yes.
Okay.
No, the lights didn't rotate, but they the whole thing.
The whole thing rotated around. Okay.
It did not. It didn't move like a helicopter would, because I've seen them too. I've seen airplanes. I've seen all of them, and the lights didn't blink. It just rotated.
Just a steady light all the time.
All the time.
Okay. Well, you did a good job of observing that.
Oh, I couldn't keep my eyes off of it. It was just more or less fixed to it. I couldn't move it. I was so scared to death. I just screamed. I told my husband to get out of there, because I told him, I said, "There's no airplane. Let's get out of here."
Now, I imagine it was quite dark out there. Could you see anything in the way of a dome or anything on this object?
All I can tell you is the lights were in a circle,
Right.
and underneath it, I don't know what it had on top, like I say, because I don't know if it had any dome or whatever, but it just looked like there was a smaller circle with no lights or anything on it, and I'm not even sure. I couldn't even honestly tell you that. All I can tell you is I saw those lights, and they all were in a circle, and it was going around. It was
Right.
rotating, and then whenever we got closer to it, it just tipped, kind of, to an angle.
Right.
And not a real sharp degree angle, but it just kind of tipped.
Okay.
And it was all circular. It wasn't oblong. It wasn't nothing. It was just plain circular.
Okay. Would you fill out a questionnaire if we sent it to you?
Yes, I certainly would.
It'll take about 30 minutes of your time, but we would really like to have that.
I would be glad to. And I'll tell you, I don't want to see another one.
It's quite an experience. I know we've talked to hundreds of people. Well, we sure appreciate this call, and if we get any more information on this, why, we'll get back to you, and in the meantime, we'll get the questionnaire in the mail.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Sure did.
Uh-huh.
And yet we keep trying to trash it over, thinking, oh well, it's probably Forest Service or what would be. I wonder what that would be. That would be such a bright orange and great big headlights at the top of a mountain that's 7,000 feet high.
Was this appear to be sitting on top of the mountain?
It came up over a mountain range. Are you familiar with the Kalispell area?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Well, that is the Rocky Mountain range right there. And she saw this about 2 o'clock in the morning. And so we keep, like I say, keep talking it over, thinking, oh, well, it's nothing, just, but it was, she said it's so huge. It was so huge, wouldn't likely be maneuvers, night maneuvers, and I thought, well, I'll ask you, do they have that in the Forest Service? Night maneuvers that you know?
No, the Forest Service wouldn't have anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
When did this happen?
Well, it was, let's see, last week, a week ago yesterday, a week ago last night.
Is the party who saw it available?
Yes, she's available. I don't know if she wants to.
I'd like to talk to her.
Okay. Hello.
Hello. Would
Yeah.
you like to describe what you saw?
Yes. Do you get many calls on UFOs?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
at the right department?
A lot of calls.
Yeah. Well, this was, like she said, 2 o'clock it would have been Saturday morning. And I saw it from Summers, which is about 10 or 15 miles from the mountain range. And it was a big orange glow up on top of the highest peak. And there was a separate orange glow on this side of which would have been on the west side of the mountain.
Uh-huh.
And, I probably watched that for maybe 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, I don't know. And then from the east side came 2 great big headlights in the middle of this big orange glow coming up over the mountains from the east side.
Now, they came out of the glow?
They came, it was like this orange glow was one big light ray.
Okay.
And then these 2 huge headlights right in the center.
Okay.
Come up over the mountain towards me. And this smaller orange blob on this side of the mountains moved up and joined forces with this other whatever that was coming over the mountain.
You mean they merged?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it was kind of a thinner ray, which I assume it was turning around when these 2 joined. And then it went back east, back over on the other side of the mountain. And then I could see the black silhouette of the mountain against this light ray, this orange glow. And then it started moving to the south and up high.
Okay.
And I watched it for probably a half hour, all told.
Okay, now the largest glow, the highest one, did that have any particular shape?
No, it didn't. No.
Just a large glob of light?
Right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now how about the smaller one?
The smaller one, they laugh at me. The only way I can describe it is one of these canvas wine containers that they squirt wine into their mouth, you know?
Yes.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
With that sort of shape.
Uh-huh.
It was kind of a pear shape, yes. And
okay.
I don't remember whether the peak of that pear-shaped object was connected to the other or not. I don't know. I can't say that it was, and I can't say that it wasn't.
Okay, now in comparison, how much smaller was the small object compared to the large one?
Oh, the smaller one was, it's so hard for me to describe size from that distance. It was very small compared to the big orange glow.
Okay, do you have any estimate of how big the other one was? Could you compare it with any object?
Well, let me see.
if you can imagine a big orange light on the other side of the peak of Mount Rainier, something like that. I mean, it lit up the sky to a certain extent. You could see streaks of white clouds, and then dark, and then white clouds.
Okay.
And but the sky was just light. It wasn't an orange reflection that far up to see the clouds. The orange was pretty well centered around the top of the mountain.
Did the intensity of that light remain the same at all times?
Yes, it did.
Did it reflect itself off the surface of the ground at all that you could see?
Not that I could see.
Okay. But how long did you watch that?
Well, like I say, it must have been close to a half hour.
Okay. And were you the only witness to this?
During the biggest part of the light, I was. I finally went in and woke up my sister, because there has been a lot of talk in that area of seeing these objects. In fact, I have a sister coming in tonight that has seen one. And she finally got up, and her first thought was the moon, but it definitely wasn't the moon, and it wasn't in the right location for moon. And then she watched it with me for another 15, 20 minutes as it moved south and up. But she could see the light reflection and so on in the back.
Did you see any aircraft in the sky at the time?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, we sure appreciate this report, and if your sister would be in the mood, we'd like to hear from her tomorrow if she would like to talk about that sighting.
Well, fine. I'm sure she'd be glad to, because we were vacationing back there, and I talked to her in the morning and described what I had seen. This was Saturday morning, early, and she said, well, that's very similar to what she had seen just not too long before that. And it seems to be quite a common occurrence back there.
Well, we've been getting quite a few calls from northwestern Montana.
Is that right?
Up around Libby and Kalispell and Missoula and so forth.
And no idea as to what it could be, any logical explanation for it.
Not for what you have seen, no. Sometimes when we get objects that have some kind of a shape, why we can come up with some kind of an answer, but when it involves just a large mass of light, why we must assume that it's an energy field of some kind surrounding a very unconventional object.
Well, it definitely was, and when I first looked at it and just saw the orange reflection, naturally you're curious and wonder. But when these two headlights come up over the mountain, then that kind of sent chills up your back, because it was definitely round light, you know.
Okay, now that was 2 a.m., that was last Saturday morning, right?
Yeah.
That would be the 18th. Okay. Well, we sure appreciate your call.
All right, fine.
And we'll be looking forward to hearing from your sister.
All right, just a moment. Oh, she was wondering if that was an east number or if you were in the south end.
No, we're in the south end.
South end. All right, fine. Well, we'll have they're due to drive in here just any moment, so we'll. Can they call you? Are you there 24 hours a day?
Yes.
All
but
right.
Specifically tomorrow, if she can make it.
Okay. Would you like for staff for you or?
No, anyone that's on duty.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fine.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
UFO Reporting Center?
Yes, sir. I'd like to report there's 4 people here, and we've all believed them to be UFOs. We're in Boulder City, Nevada.
Oh, okay, we'd like to hear about it.
Okay, I don't know how to explain. There's 2, they are not airplanes. We know they're not airplanes. They are flying maybe side by side, but are they still there? They're going towards Searchlight. There's 2 of them.
Okay.
And there's one over Hoover Dam.
Stationary?
Is the one over Hoover Dam stationary, or was it going? It's stationary, yes.
Okay, what's the approximate altitude of the one over the dam?
What would you say for approximate altitude over the one over the dam? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's fly as high as an airplane.
Okay.
But the two that we saw first were flying, side by side. I thought they were two airplanes.
Yes.
But they're not. But they were they had like three flashing lights.
What color were those lights?
But yes, there's two on the ends, and the middle light was flashing on off. What color? Two red lights on the end. And the middle light is like a light white.
Okay, can you see any fuselage that these lights are attached to?
No. Yeah, they stopped, like over the dam, and then they went. But the one is out of sight that was over Hoover Dam. It was hovering over Hoover Dam.
That's still there?
No, it's gone now.
Oh, it's gone now.
It stayed there while the other two were, moving.
Okay, now which direction did the two that disappeared move to?
What direction is that? What direction were them two going? West.
West. Okay, now did anyone see the one leave from the dam?
Did you see the one leave from the dam, or was she? Yeah, she watched it blink off and off until it was out of sight.
And did it move in the same direction?
Did it go in the same direction as those other two? No.
No. Okay, any estimate of size on these things, these groups of lights?
It went about an estimate of size. I think it was bigger than an airplane. They weren't as big as an airplane.
Okay.
Yeah, a small commercial aircraft.
Okay, fine. Did you hear any sound at all?
No.
Okay.
No, we were just sitting outside, and I just happened to look.
Did you actually watch these objects come into view?
Yes.
Were these objects traveling in a straight line at all times? Were there any motions or maneuvers involved?
No, they were just going in a straight line.
Okay.
And the two were even.
Any idea of altitude?
No, they were just about, as high as an airplane would fly. That's why I thought they were airplanes when I first seen them.
I see. Would you mean the small aircraft?
Uh-huh.
Right, okay. And how many witnesses do you have there?
4.
Okay. And no one heard any sound?
No, I didn't. Did you guys hear anything? No sound? Nope.
About what time did you spot those?
Well, it's 25 to 9. I must have 8:30.
8:30.
I know, but I have the call-free number to give them.
Okay, who did you get our number from?
I called 911 here, and it was a emergency police department number.
Is that the city or county?
Boulder City.
Okay.
Nevada.
Okay, well, we'll get on this, and if we come up with any ID on these things, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it. We know what airplanes look like,
Right.
And my sister that lives here in Boulder, she said that a couple times this last week there's been UFOs reported over the dam.
I see. Okay, now how's the weather down there, the sky conditions?
Oh, it's clear. It is clear, but when I saw these, when I first saw them, it looked like maybe they were in clouds, I just seen the lights barely blinking off and on, and they were flying side by side.
Uh-huh.
The two, and it was cloudy, and then, I don't know, because I came in the house to phone, I said, look at those things in the sky, and my sister said, those are the UFOs that's been reported over the dam, so I come in to call.
Now, did each one of these objects have these colored lights?
Yes.
And they were both identical, more or less?
Yes.
Okay, and they moved together at all times?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a minute. My husband just come in and said that an airplane, a jet plane just went over, and they were nothing like the plane looked.
Oh, fine. Okay, swell. Okay, well, we'll get on this, and if we get anything on it, we'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm calling for the UFO Reporting Center in Washington.
Yes?
We understand you saw something in the sky early this morning.
Yes, I did.
I wonder if we could get a description of that. Everything exactly what happened right from the beginning.
Well, I was driving home from Boise.
Uh-huh.
I've been out with a friend, and it was kind of late. It was probably about 1:45, and I had my window down because I was trying to stay awake. I was not drunk. I had not been partying. And there is virtually no traffic on that back road early at night. I mean, late at night like that.
Uh-huh.
And I was not particularly aware of anything bizarre, you know, jumping around in the sky or anything like that. I actually thought it was an airplane until it seemed to get lower and lower and lower. And I thought, gee, this guy's kind of low. That's crazy. You know, I know what an airplane's supposed to be doing, and it's certainly not supposed to be doing that out in farm country. And I thought, well, he's going to try to land on the road. He must be in trouble. And I thought, man, his landing lights are really pretty light, or pretty, you know, bright for being on a small airplane.
Yes.
Because it was small. My father flies private planes, so I know what a private plane looks like when it's trying to land. And I know that every private plane has a landing beacon on it, a red and white flashing beacon. It didn't have that. I thought, wow, this guy must be in real trouble. And I kept driving. The craft was coming towards me, and I was going towards it. And I got pretty concerned that he was going to try to land on that road, so I started to pull off to the side while keeping moving, of course, stay out of his way. And I thought, gee, this guy is nuts, until it flew over my car, and I knew it wasn't an airplane. It's going to sound totally insane, but it looked just like the flying sub from Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Honest to God.
Just kind of torpedo shape?
Excuse me?
Kind of torpedo shape?
Well...
Or a cigar?
No, it was flat, with a bump in the middle. Do you remember the series Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea?
Yes, now I do.
The flying sub, that's exactly what it looked like. It had a green light on the left tip, and a red light on the right tip, and the landing lights were situated just below the bump, and the light and the windows were right above that.
Now this rounded top, did that appear as a dome of some kind?
Well, there's a definite bump. There was not exactly wings on the creature or whatever it was, but like flat spaces and a hump in the middle.
Right, okay. Did you see any other openings, any openings at all?
Excuse me?
Did you see any openings in the object?
Yes, the windows directly above the bright white lights.
There were windows?
Yes.
Okay, were these round?
No, they were vertical.
Okay, how many were there?
4.
Do you remember? 4?
4.
Okay. And were these lighted windows?
Yes, they were like backlit, you know, like...
Interior lighting?
Yes, like interior lighting.
Okay, which color was that?
Well, I would say pale colored, not green like would be from an aircraft panels type thing. Because I've flown with my father quite a few times at night, and the panel lighting is pale green or pale blue. I've never seen it pale yellow or like indoor lights would be.
Yes.
Anything like that. They're always pale green or pale blue to minimize the strain on eyes, I suppose. But it was so strange because I know what an aircraft looks like, and I know what planes look like. And the only thing that really threw me was when it flew over my car, you know, passed over, and I passed under it, was that as it passed over, it tilted so I could see those windows. And I swear it didn't look like an airplane. I swear it didn't. And I thought, good God, you know, it was just like a split-second thing. I realized that I had not seen just an airplane, but it was something else. And I was too scared to stop, so I kept going a little ways, and then I did stop my car and looked back, and it had continued to go out over the fields. And the two things that really, you know, make me question in my mind whether it was a regulation aircraft was that, one, I had my window halfway down, and an aircraft that's that close off the ground that you can see the landing lights on it, it's going to have some sound. You will be able to see the movement of the prop even though it's at night, because the prop is in front of those landing lights,
right.
And you can see that going around. There was not on this one, and there was no sound.
Okay, now did this approach you directly? Did it come down over the road?
Yeah.
And then it came directly over the top of your car, right?
And it continued on behind me.
Okay, now...
And that's the other thing. It was going in the wrong direction. Boise Airport is out more towards the west. And this craft was flying directly east, or probably southeast, in a direction opposite of the airport. And to my knowledge, there's no Air Force base out that way.
Okay, can you give me an estimate as to how high that was above you as it passed overhead?
Well, let's see. How tall is a regulation telephone pole?
Oh, wow. I'd say about probably 75 feet.
Okay, it was probably about four or five telephone poles above me.
Okay.
It was close enough that it looked like it was an aircraft settling down when it was still far away, when all I could see was the landing lights, bright white lights, you know.
Okay. Was there any other lighting effect around the object itself other than those lights that you saw?
You mean a glowing effect?
Right.
Not at all. But there was like a quarter moon out last night, so there was some moonlight, and that's the only way I was able to determine the shape. And I mean, I was completely lucid at the time. I had not been partying, and it was so strange that I should even, think of that. Because, like I said, I know aircraft. My parents fly aircraft.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing, I've been trying to talk myself out of it all day. I told my boyfriend, and he told me I was nuts. And I've been trying to talk myself out of it, but except the two things, it was flying in the wrong direction, and there was no sound. And that is freaky.
Okay. Would you say that this was a solid metallic object?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you give us any estimate of size?
It was a little larger than, say, a Cessna 150.
Okay.
It had a broader wingspan. Maybe it looked like it was broader because it seemed so flat in between, whereas a Cessna is tall. It has fixed gear. Maybe it seemed wider, but it definitely seemed wider to me than, say, a Cessna 150.
Okay. Now, as this object went over you and then started moving away from you, did you watch it until it actually just disappeared in the distance?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any change in those lights at all at any time that you were watching it? Brightness or color?
Well, once the craft had passed over me, I couldn't see the landing lights anymore, but I could see the red and green lights as they went past. And, well, now that I think about it, and that's the other strange thing, is that if it were an aircraft, it would have the red and white blinker beacon on the tail, and it didn't.
Uh-huh.
Or a yellow and white, anyway, and it didn't have that.
Okay.
So I watched the red and green lights as far as I could, but, after a while you lose close and depth perception on the green, and red is all you can see, and once it blended in with the city lights, I couldn't see it anymore.
Okay, when you pulled over and the object came overhead, did you have any problems with your car? Did the lights dim or the engine break up at all?
Not that I remember or noticed or anything.
Okay.
I was just concerned that the guy was trying to land. Like I said, up until the last, few seconds that it passed over me, I thought it was an aircraft trying to land on the roadway out of, emergency. Because they've had a real rash of private planes not being able to find airports around here, and so they've been landing on the highways right and left, and the newsmen have been making quite much fun of it, But it's not too funny, because I've been up there when they couldn't find an airplane, or airport, I mean.
Okay.
So I was just trying to help the guy out, and then when it passed overhead, I knew it wasn't an aircraft.
About what would you say would be the duration of the time you observed that object?
Well, I didn't notice that it appeared, or anything weird like that. I just became aware of it because it was so bright. The lights were so bright.
Right.
And I watched it for a while, and it seemed to curve. All right, from my right-hand side, going towards Caldwell, Idaho, it would probably have come out of the northeast if I have my directions correct. Okay, and it curved southwards towards Boise, and came over the road and seemed to follow the road for a while, and then it veered off towards Boise, which would have carried it off into the southeastern direction.
Okay. Now...
And it seemed so slow. That's what caught my attention first off was the bright lights, and then how low he seemed to be getting and how slow he was going. I thought that's why it made me think that there was an aircraft trying to land on the roadway.
Okay. Do you feel that you were actually singled out or picked for this close approach that this thing took toward you?
No, because there was another car approaching me at the same time.
I see. Okay.
And if he was singling me out, he would have turned around and followed me back to Caldwell, and he didn't. He didn't follow the other car either. He just keep going across the field.
Okay. You didn't have any feeling of being watched?
Not particularly.
Okay. But this thing did tilt just about the time it came over you?
Yeah, like he was trying to observe our two cars passing, because our two cars passing, the car had passed me just about the time the craft tilted. I mean, the car had passed me, so there was no reflection of his lights into my eyes, you know.
Okay. And then that other car just proceeded down the road out of sight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which road were you traveling, actually?
I think it's Highway 25. It's out of the backside of Boise.
And that goes directly into Caldwell?
Yes.
Okay.
Interstate 80 runs around the west side of Boise, and I think it's 25 that comes out of the east side of Boise. I feel kind of silly now, but I'm curious, you know. Just really curious to find out if anybody else saw something the same type of thing.
I did. A Caldwell police officer did.
He did?
Yes.
Really?
I dig out the report here. Saw it at about 2 a.m. He didn't actually see as good a description of the fuselage as you did, but he did see the lights very distinctly, and he said that they were obviously attached to a very solid body of some kind, but it was much too dark for him to see the fuselage.
Oh, my God.
And he called here direct to report it.
Oh, my God.
2 bright white lights, 1 red light, 1 green light, apparently attached to an NVO, which is non-visible object.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
And we're getting a rash of these reports of similar objects all over the western United States.
Oh, my goodness.
So, okay, is there anything else you can add to this? Have you had any problems since this experience? Did you have any dreams after you got back?
Not really. I've been terribly upset today, but it's been a rash of other things, I think. I don't think that would have anything to do with it. I was frightened, but once I got over my fright, I was very curious, more than anything else.
Okay. What was your opinion of the UFO mystery before this happened?
Well, intellectually, I could admit to myself that there's got to be life other than on, you know, good old Mother Earth.
Yes.
Because, well, just by, well, you're getting into a whole philosophy type trip that way, but I believe that there was life on other planets besides ours, for crying out loud, for sure. But I had questioned a lot of the, quote, sightings, because people get very excited, and unfortunately in this good old U.S. of A. of ours, not a whole lot of people are really well educated. I mean, not every kid in 9 out of 10 has a college education and is not taught to, you know, accurately question things that go on in this world.
Right.
And so I questioned quite a few of them, but I did, you know, admit to myself the possibility that there might be life on other planets, yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't know how many would have the technology or anything like that to, you know, check out our planet. What would they want with ours? Really, we got enough problems of our own.
That we have.
Really.
Well, we sure appreciate your talking to us, and if we get any more information on this, well, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.